Okay, so wanted to do some videos in the week leading up to the season, just kind of going through most of the teams. To be honest, not going to go through every single team, but certainly gonna hit most of them. Just quickly look through some transfers, give my little thoughts on everything, and then to finish off the week, I'll do some kind of Premier League predictions. What I'm wanting to do this season is, at the moment, I'm just going to take City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, which the first video will be on, and I'm going to go through, for example, right now we've got 3 games until the international break. So I'm going to go through those 3 games, predict how many points I think they'll get, and I'm going to do that for the title race as the season goes. So if someone comes into the title race, like Chelsea, who I think might, which will be on the next video, then we'll start looking at their fixtures. We'll go over the next 3, 4, 5 games, depending on how many there are in a row, depending on the time of the season, and chalk up some points, and hopefully I can do it with some of the boys and get some of my mates in too. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Let's start with City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. I'm going to start with City. I've already done some videos going through their transfers and stuff, so I won't harp too long on about them. But if we do just have a look here on transfer market, we know they've signed Reinders from AC Milan, they've signed Aït-Nouri as a left back, they've gone and got Ryan Cherki, and they've signed James Trafford alongside what they've done in January. We know with the likes of Marmoush and the other players that they bought. That's really at the time when they started to, if you want to use that word, rebuild, right? That kind of famous word that everyone uses. So City for me are, City for me are a worry. Guardiola's not going to go down without a fight. It was obviously a very poor season last season. It's the first time I've really seen Guardiola like that and a Guardiola team like that. So he's going to look to reinvent a little bit and try and come at it with something new. We know he's hired Pep Linders as well, who's obviously Jurgen Klopp's assistant. And from my opinion, what he's looking to get out of Pep Linders is fresh ideas, energy in the squad. He's obviously bought younger players, got a few new players in that have never worked with him before, that will be excited to work for him, hungry to work with him, combining with the guys that are already there that he obviously feels like are still wanting to be there and work for him. So yeah, it's an interesting one for City. I don't have a good feeling about them, to be honest. I don't know if I'm going to tip them in my predictions to be the league title winners. I'm flipping back and forth between the three, to be honest, but I am most worried about Man City just because of Guardiola. They've been the dominant team as of late, and yeah, it's just I kind of like the rebuild, and I like the fact that he's going about getting some new players in, and we're seeing kind of a new era of this Pep and Man City team, probably before he bows out, maybe at the end of this season, if not the end of next season with his contract. So yeah, I like those guys. Unfortunately, there's also been talks of them at the moment. If you look on here, it's the Indicalia News, who's kind of garnered a lot of credibility over this kind of transfer window on Twitter. Apparently, it's ran by a bunch of very well-renowned journalists that everyone knows. But if you see here, it looks like that, Savinho talks to them going to Spurs. Good signing. I'll get into that in the next video when we talk about Spurs. That they will look to target Rodrigo if Savinho does eventually go to Spurs. I really do like that. There's also one here that apparently Vinicius Jr. has been in secret talks with Man City. He's looking to make a move away, or he's considering to make a move away, but he's not too sure on everything with regards to the 115 charges. So he's kind of waiting on that. But according to them, he's very keen on the Premier League for this or next summer. And, I've been saying for a long time, Vinicius is, it's obvious Vinicius is world class, but you watch him in the Champions League and he is. You might argue he doesn't, again, have that work ethic going back the way that some guys might not, but he's kind of one of those superstar guys, and you maybe put up with it depending on the team you are. And I think one big thing for City, I think that's really dipped for them in the last year or two, is the signings that they've made on the wings have lacked in quality and goals and final product. So, the likes of Vinicius, is going to get goals. Rodrigo's excellent at Real Madrid as well. He's going to get goals. So City do need to add that to their wingers, because they brought in these guys that are nice and they're tidy and they can move around well and, cutting inside and everything. But yeah, they've just not added to it. And, I think Pep maybe was thinking that Haaland would just kind of be the goals for him. But you just never know if a striker's going to go on a goal drought, which he typically doesn't. Or, teams can kind of just shut Haaland down, and then what else have you got? It did feel like in the past of Man City that no matter who you shut down, there was always somebody else there, whether it be Mahrez or Sterling or even Sané at the time, Aguero up top, all those kind of guys. Even when they played that kind of false nine system and won the league with De Bruyne in there was just always somebody there that you could not stop. It was impossible to stop all of them. So They would be dangerous signings if Man City can get them and Pep Guardiola can get his hands on them. That's a lot of goals coming from the wing with a lot of quality alongside Haaland up top. So we shall see. We shall see. I don't think I've really got anything else to say on City. I think they're going to be, they went out of the Club World Cup at a good time, so we shall see what happens to them. Let's just move over to Arsenal. We know that they've signed Zubamendi, which, Partey's obviously gone. I think that means Declan Rice is going to play a little bit higher, personally, for me, which he kind of started to do anyway. And Rice is a guy you want to be getting into the box as well. He can do a lot of things, but if Zubamendi's sitting alongside him, he can be a bit more defensive. He can be more of the playmaker, and Rice can be allowed to just kind of be a bit more attack-minded and get himself forwards and get some goals for Arsenal, which, again, they will need. Obviously, they've signed Gyökeres. I've seen a lot of different videos on Gyökeres. I'm not going to really comment on any of this before, starting to watch these guys because I don't know them. I don't sit and watch the Portuguese league. I'm not going to be one of those people on here that pretends that they sit and do. So we'll see. There's been a lot of talk that Arsenal are trying to use him to whip it in and for him to header it in the back of the net, and that's really not his game. He's kind of likes to pick it up and drive from deep and make runs in behind. I think there's a very lack of centre forwards that just kind of want the ball up to their head anyway, right? But if he's a big lad, they're going to look to do that, and we know the pressure that's going to be on Gyökeres. But I don't know. I've watched highlights of pre-season. He looks like he's the type of mentality for that Arsenal team, a little nasty, a big kind of bully powerhouse up top there. So I think it'll work. I just think that for them, for the title of this season, there's so much pressure on Arteta that as soon as there starts to be a little bit of a bad run, it might get a little bit too much for the squad, right? If it was last season and they went and did this with Gyökeres, I think they have time to get through that bad run. I don't know if he will. It depends how much the board back him, and it depends how much the fans really do want him. I feel like they're kind of swinging. They're fed up of coming third 3 times in a row, but I did read that the last time Arsenal came third 3 times in a row, they then did go on to win the Premier League. I mean, make of that what you will, but yeah, it'll be interesting. So Gyökeres, Madueke, who, I don't know, I wasn't too much of a fan of at Chelsea. Again, talking about City and their wingers with no end product. I didn't feel like he had the greatest end product, and he was probably in and out the Chelsea team for a reason, even though they're a bit mad. But he's only 23. It does add a little bit more depth to those wing spots. I mean, Saka obviously does play off the right. That's where Madueke does like to play a little bit. So, I mean, how much game time is he going to get there? But again, squad depth add in there. He might be able to rotate on the left-hand side as well with Martinelli. They brought in that Mosquera, the young defender from Valencia. Again, no nothing about. They've signed Norgard from Brentford, just kind of a body in there, a bit of experience, and then they've gone and got Kepa, which a little bit random as well. Kepa just bounce around between clubs in the Premier League, man. He's just one of those keepers. But yeah, is it enough for Arsenal? I don't know. There's obviously still talks of them with Eze, who would be another signing. Again, that would be a good bit of quality added in there. I do think that they've just lacked goals, and all the pressure is going to be on Gyökeres. And it'll be, they've got United and Liverpool in the first 3, which we'll get into just once we quickly look at Liverpool here. But yeah, it will be. I don't know. I'm not trying to sit on the fence with it with Arsenal. It just depends how well they start and if Gyökeres gets the goals in. And if they do, then I think they'll be absolutely fine and they'll be up there. But if as soon as they start to get a dip of running form, the fans are not going to be too best pleased with them. I've done a fair bit on Liverpool, so I don't want to go over it too much. We know they've signed Wirtz, we know they've signed Ekitike, we know they've signed Kirkes, we know they've signed Frimpong. Don't think I've missed anyone else out there. And there's obviously still the talks with Isak going on. It's come out today that he said that even if Newcastle don't let him go, he won't play for them. Obviously a tactic to just try and get him over the line. But a lot of change at Liverpool. We've seen in the Community Shield there's definitely some weaknesses in the defence area. It looks like he's going a little bit more attack minded, which I don't know for me. But with regards to Liverpool, I think it's just the amount of change for me, not only just in the players but also in the backroom staff, that unsettles me a little bit to be able to retain the title. As I said, also the pressure of being the champions and having to retain that, and you have to walk a certain way, talk a certain way, act a certain way. And with all the money that's been spent, you're constantly going to be asked about that. Slot already was asked about that in the Community Shield, just all these new signings and that pressure on Liverpool. And he said, with Liverpool there's always pressure, but that does add a lot more pressure onto it for me. So Yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous as a Liverpool fan. Obviously I do back them. Again, I'm really torn between the three because there's so much change at City. Arsenal have that pressure, as I've just said, and there's also a lot of change at Liverpool too, just with regards to the backroom staff and the players. So I'm not too sure. But Liverpool, the barometer. Do I think Arsenal and City have added enough to compete with them? I think City have. I think City have, and I think Arsenal is just fully dependent on Gyökeres. And if they get away from being that kind of team that just fully relied somewhat on set pieces and just tailor that back a little bit and still be a nasty team and still be tough like that, but just tailor it back a little bit and get back to a little bit the football, which I think will be good for them. So that's the barometer. We'll see if City and Arsenal can hit it. Let's go through the first three games then. We know Liverpool open the Premier League weekend at home to Bournemouth on Friday night at 8 o'clock. Man City go away to Wolves at 5:30 on the Saturday, and Arsenal start off the big Super Sunday at 4:30 away to Manchester United. So I'm going to be honest, if I'm looking at that, I'm going to go, I think Liverpool just have too much for Bournemouth. First game of the season, champions, Diogo Jota stuff. I think Liverpool beat Bournemouth there. I'm going to say Liverpool get 3 points on that. City away to Wolves. I mean, I know that's kind of been a sticking one for City in the last season or two, but it's a barometer where City are going to be, because when they slip up against these teams, we've seen then they're typically a little bit off it, but when they just kind of run through these teams, which I think they will on Saturday at 5:30, I think Wolves are in a bit of trouble and they're going to be down to the bottom. That'll be a video come towards the end of the week. I think City beat them there. I think no problem, 3 points with City away to Wolves. Arsenal away to Manchester United. Now, there's obviously, everyone still thinks United are going to be pretty shit. I'm not too sure, again, which I'll get into the next video. There's going to be an excitement. There's going to be a buzz about it. Arsenal are the better team. United have added some goals to their game. I think that's going to be a bit of a mad draw. I think that could be about 2-2 at Old Trafford. I think Arsenal go and get a point there. I just think that United will still be a bit suspect at the back, to be honest with you. The attacking players, it'll be a bit mad, and Arsenal have got the quality to be able to kind of hit that United defence with the likes of Saka, and then we'll see Gyökeres in there. So that's a great little Super Sunday. So I'm going, point for Arsenal, 3 for City, 3 for Liverpool. If we take it into match week 2, we have City at home to Spurs on the Saturday at 12:30. Spurs typically, again, a bogey team for City, but Thomas Frank in there, a few change. You just don't quite know. We know that, where are Arsenal here? Arsenal play Leeds at home at 5:30 on the Saturday. That'll be a great game. And then Liverpool finish off that on the Monday night away to Newcastle, with the whole Isak situation going on as well. City home to Spurs. I think City put them to the sword. I'm going to give City another 3 points here. I do. I think it's just going to take a bit of time for Thomas Frank to get what he wants on that squad. The squad's not great, although I like that they've added like Kudos to it and Paulinho to it, and there's talks of them being in for Eze, but they have lost Maddison, who is kind of the playmaker, the kind of key player there. I think City go ahead. I think that's 3 points. Arsenal at home to Leeds now. We know what Leeds are like. It's a big club. It's not that Bielsa kind of coming up, scrapping for you. It's Daniel Farke, who I worry about a little bit, just because he's really not been great when he's come up to the Premier League. Now, has he learned as a coach and as a manager? Let's see. I think Arsenal get 3 points there, although that could be a great game. Will be a great game Saturday night at 5:30. Make sure I tune into that. That'll be chaotic a little bit. It'll be feisty, but I think Arsenal ultimately go ahead and get the 3 points. So what we got? City are on 6 points. We're putting Arsenal on 4 points after that. Liverpool away to Newcastle. That's going to be a cauldron anyway. Never minding the whole Isak kind of saga and stuff. I guess it depends where Newcastle are at. If Isak's obviously going to play, if he's joined Liverpool yet, and if Newcastle have got any type of attackers in there. But that is going to be a nasty, nasty, nasty game. I'm going to be honest. I think Liverpool get out there with a draw. If they don't have Isak and stuff, I can see Liverpool nicking it. But for the sake of this video, I need to be matter of fact. I'm going to say Liverpool get a point there. I just think that'll be a fucker of a game. It really, really will be. I wonder if Liverpool have got Isak by then, if he plays in that. That would be even fucking worse. But that's a hell of a Monday night football. That should be a Sunday 4:30. I mean, get Fulham Man United on Monday night there, and get Newcastle Liverpool at 4:30. But hell of a game. I'm going Liverpool with a point. So what's that? Liverpool on 4, Arsenal on 4, and City on 6 after 2. Let's come into the final game week before we get that stupid international break that we have here. Just trying to actually see where everybody is. So City are away to Brighton on the Sunday at 2 o'clock, and then Liverpool host Arsenal to finish that run of 3 games off at 4:30 on a Sunday. City away at Brighton. I'm going to go City get a point there. I think City get a point. I think they'll start off well. They'll get 6. I think away at Brighton will be tough. Brighton have kind of just kept a lot of guys, and they're doing all right this season, so they'll be much in the same Hurtsler with another year there. Yeah, I'm going to go City get a point there. So I think City end up on 7. Liverpool at home to Arsenal. It's at Anfield. Arsenal make it extremely difficult. It's that start of the season, so everyone's trying to get their shit together. I think Liverpool's attacking power is too much for Arsenal. I'm going to say that'll end up about 3-1. 3-1 to Liverpool at Anfield. I'm going to go Liverpool get 3 points. So what's that? Liverpool end up on 7. And Arsenal just miss out on that early game. They'll take a point in that, obviously, I think. Early on, just get out at Anfield. Don't get beat. See how they're doing in the first 2. So I think City finish on 7, Liverpool finish on 7, and I think Arsenal then finish on 4 if they get beat by Liverpool. So they finish 3 off. I think Arsenal will be the chaser of the 2 this season. I don't think they'll be there with Liverpool and City. That's my thoughts on it at the moment. Obviously, I'm going to do another Premier League prediction video once the transfer window closes, and just see if I want to rebuff anything I say when I do the video at the end of the week. But yeah, I'm going City 7, Liverpool 7, Arsenal 4. It's a hell of a start to the season with that. If you watch this video, comment, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget, subscription service is available for exclusive weekend breakdown content that'll come on Mondays or Tuesdays. That'll only be available on the subscription service, as well as a fantasy football league, which has currently got a £100 cash pot for the winner, with a view to grow depending on how many subscribers we get as the season goes on, which I think will grow, which means I'll up that pot and I will give back to the subscribers. So yeah, these will be the last of these videos that are on here, so enjoy them. It's meant to be 26 degrees today, so get outside if you can. Enjoy the weather, enjoy the end of the summer, and as always, until the next one, have a good one. Peace.